Hello and welcome back to the channel. Animated Alex here. Hope you're all doing well. A little bit different this video. I've had a viewer of the channel message me directly and asked, could I please have a look at his game? He's having some troubles trying to get it to function correctly. And he just said, can I have a look at it? And if I'm not able to correct the faults, then maybe the viewers of my channel could help in the comments. Obviously, I'm learning BASIC as I go as well, so I don't know everything. There might be some bits in there that I'm unaware of or don't know. So, like I said, please feel free to comment. So anyway, I'm going to run the game. It's called Rabbit, so let's run the game. Now, some of the problems that he's already pointed out to me is that there is a timer in the game. There's a problem with that, and the user-defined graphics aren't loading up correctly. And could I just look at some general improvements of his coding? You know, where has he gone wrong? How could he improve it, etc., etc. Now, the first thing that I notice here, just loading the game up, is I'm assuming that screen should be black with the green text. So that is one thing that I'll look at when we look at the coding. So we've got OP left and right, QA up and down, eat enough carrots to score 1,000, meet 3 farmers and face a terrible fate. Run out of time and it is bye-bye rabbit. Press any key to begin the madness. Right, okay. So we've got capital F's and capital C's. I'm assuming they should be graphics. So C, I would say, is the carrot, F for the farmer. Now the rabbit character is loaded up okay. I like his little moving feet there. So that's a farmer. Look, we've lost a life. So... and that's our carrots, and the score comes up on the screen. Timer at the bottom there in the left-hand corner. So let's keep an eye on that, see what's going on with that, because he said there's a problem with that as well. Nothing wrong with the collision detections. They're all working nicely. Simple little game of just collect the carrots without hitting the farmers. So nothing else moving on the screen. Oh, there's the problem with the timer. So it just hasn't deleted the 0, basically. So that's an easy fix. So there's that, the graphics, and just a basic look at the code. So let's have a look. List. Right, first thing I'm going to do before I do anything, I'm going to put it paper 7, border 7, ink black, and clear screen, just so it's a little bit easier on the eye. Right, okay. 1 go to 10. Don't know why we've got that. So let's get rid of that first off. Get rid of that. So there's our problem there. That is why we aren't getting a complete black screen when it loads up. So let's pull down number 10. That clear screen should be there. So that's sorted that problem. I'm just quickly scanning through what we've got there. There seems to be a lot of variables going on there. And then we've got a go sub at line 35 saying go and do the variables. User defined graphics, I would have go sub that first. Get the graphics done and then come back. So that may just need moving. Line 33, go sub 40. So that's where our large print is for our intro screen. And then we've got go sub screen. So I think it's just a case of might be a few things in the wrong places there. Let's go through a bit more and I'll come back to this. Game loop. There's the game loop after the instruction page. There's our timer. Let's have a look at that. As you mentioned, there was a problem with the timer and it's obviously not deleting the 0. Yeah, so to get rid of that, all we need to do is put a space there and that will sort the timer out. So that's the timer sorted. So let's list it on from 122. Gaming loop's fine. We know the collision points are working with our ATTR. There's our little graphic for the rabbit. That's working fine. Variables now. Our variables are at position line 300, so maybe it would have been worth moving that big clunk of variables at the beginning and putting it down there. Then it draws the screen, prints up the carrots and the farmers. User-defined graphics. Right, okay, let's go back to that. List 500. Personally, I'd like to change all that. Seems a lot of poke user going on there. We could condense that right down and sort that out and tidy that up a lot better than it is. Although it's working. So I think if you just move that Go sub at the top of the screen, your user-defined graphic one, move line 34 to line 15, you'd probably find it would get rid of that problem and your graphics would load up straight away. But as an improvement, line 500, as an improvement, I would like to rewrite all that and use the a data command to do our graphics. So yeah, that is something I think needs addressing. And if we go back to the beginning, I'd like to put all those variables under line 300. Some of those variables I don't think we actually need, but until I start moving them around and having a play with it, we'll soon find out. Apart from that, there's not much wrong with this. Just needs a little bit of organisation and a little bit of tweaking here and there. We know the game works. I'm not going to worry too much about moving loads of stuff because of the style of game it is. There's not a great deal of movement in the game to worry about with regards to efficiency and speed. So yeah, good effort. I mean, it works. The game works. You know, if we run it now, let's see what the graphics look like. That's what the screen should look like when it's loaded up. So we've sorted that problem by putting that clear screen in there. There's our graphics. So that's what the graphics look like when they are booted up. So I'm just going to wait until that timer goes down to see if me putting that space where I did has sorted that problem out. And when it's got down there, I'm actually going to end the rabbit and see what happens on the game over screen in case there's any problems there. So we're nearly there with the timer. There we go. Yep, see, that's sorted that problem. So let's kill the rabbit off. Game over, that's working. So it's just sat there now waiting for me to push a key. So that's all working. Yeah, so it's just, you know, like I said, because of the style of game it is, should I worry about moving all that around? But as an improvement for us learners out there, I think, yeah, we'll have a dig and we'll do a bit more to it. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sort those user-defined graphics out. And then we'll start chucking these variables in different places. Right, okay. Okay, so from line 500, user-defined graphics, I have now replaced it with a for next loop, read data, and one poke user. Okay, so originally he had the letters F for farmer, C for carrot, and R for rabbit. And there was also another user-defined graphic actually in his code that wasn't being used, so I haven't bothered to include it in this. Obviously, those letters have now changed because I've poked it to user character A. So I'm going to have to go back into the code and just rearrange those graphics now so that the correct character comes up. Also, at the beginning of the listing, I've put at line 15, go sub 500. So it goes and does the graphics straight away so that they will load up as soon as the program starts running. So it goes and does that first. All right. And just to go back to the user-defined graphics, there they are, the data statements. I put them at starting at line 2010. Just get them right out of the way. the back end of the program. Right. So, yes, that's right. I need to go through the program and find where all the characters are and basically change them back. So we got line 170. Look, there's some there. So R being the rabbit. So graphic A, whoops, and then graphic B. So that sorted the rabbit out. It looks like our farmer is already there, although I've got a feeling that should be a carrot because it's ink 6 and the carrots were in yellow. So that is now D, graphic D. And this one here for our farmer will be E, no, A, B, C. So graphic C. Now that should sort that out. Yeah, so we've now got all the graphics working. Out of data. What's happening there? List 515. Let me see what's going on here. Why are we out of data? I got a feeling because we've still got line 34 in there, so it's go subbing to it again. We don't need it to go there again. So let's get rid of line 34 because we've now moved that up to 15. And I'm not going to bother doing a variable saying user defined graphics. So we can also get rid of line 21. Now that out of data statement should now not be there. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so that's sorted that out. So let's just do paper 7, ink black, border 7. I prefer working with a white screen with black ink. Just find it easier to read. So let's go back up to line 20, these variables here. No more, yeah. So we got our go sub at 500. So I'll put some rems at the back end of these so we know what they are. And when I send it back to him, when he looks through the code, he knows what it's doing. So yeah, we've got game loop. Now I'll keep all that because obviously it's his coding, but I'm going to move it. Like I said before, I'm going to put it in where the variables start. Where we're line 35, go sub variables. So let's scroll down there. So our variables are going to start at 300. But we also need to move that line number. But before I do that, I'm going to move everything into line 300. So I'll do that first and then I'll come back and we'll move that line number. Okay, so I've moved all of that out of the way. That is now under line 300 with the rest of the variables. So I'll show you that in a bit. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put some little rem statements in front just so when I send it back to him, he can see where I've put stuff. But I need to move that line number as well. We can move that to line 20. Yeah, 20 would be fine. And that means now get rid of line 35. So when the program loads up, it'll sort the colors out, the paper color, etc. It'll go sub, do our user defined graphics, it'll come back, it'll then go sub to the variables, then come back, and then we're starting the game up. You know, we're doing the intro screen, we're loading up the playing screen, and then game loop. Okay, I'm not going to move anything else. I can't see the point because, like I say, it's a simple little game. If it had lots of movement and stuff in, I would try and even get that game loop up. And I can't get my words out. I try and get that game loop up even closer to the top, I would move the intro down the bottom of the screen and everything as well and have it go sub after there. But I'm going to keep that as it is. We've sorted the timer out. I think that's it. So let me just go to line 300. So I've put all the variables there now. I've just kept them as they are because I say it's his program at the end of the day. I've just been asked to have a look at it and do the alterations. So we're going to put line 300 rem, not run, rem variables. Okay. So there's our variables. Just make sure we have got a return in there so it goes back. I do believe we have, so we're okay there. So yeah, I'm going to keep all that as it is because that's a lot tidier now. Yeah, I'm not going to move anything else around. Let's just flick through the program now, make sure that we're okay. So we've got our user-defined graphics going off at line 15 to go to line 500. Then that comes back, line 20, going off to our variables at 300. We're then coming back again. Then we're sorting the intro out and the screen, and then the game loop. The game then starts. So we then go to game loop. So let's list game loop. And that's right after our introduction. And because, like I said, because of the style of game it is, I'm going to keep it all where it is. I'm not going to do any more than that. And that should now sort that out for us. Yeah. Let me just check that everything else is working. Collision's working. Yeah. Oh, we've now got... No, good job of Chet. Line 515. So what's going on there? Is something sending it back there then? Or have I done something wrong here myself? Have I made a mistake? Hang on a minute. 510. So it's returning there. Returning there. G. So it's something else sending it to line 500. So have a quick look. Still, hang on, when we die, what line number is it going to when it dies? That's probably what's causing it. So when it's game over, where is it calling it to? Game over was right at the bottom of the screen, if I remember rightly. There it is. So it's going line list 2000. Whoops. List 2000, not 200. Pull that down. So it's going to line 1. There's the problem. Now, because it's going to line 1, obviously it's recalling the graphics again. That's why we're out of data. So we want it to go to line 20. So let's pull line 2000 down, change that 1 to 20, and fingers crossed that should now sort that out. If we wanted it to keep going to line 1, we could just put a restore command there. But this should now sort that out. Right, so let's just do a game over again and see what happens. Oh, I'm just going to deliberately slaughter our rabbit. Game over. Out of date still. Why is it doing that then? Let's have a look again. 515. Game over. List 1000. There's a go-to 1 hidden in there as well. So that should be 20. Why have we got to game over, well done? Why are we going to 20 twice? Hang on a second. Oh, one's for well done, one's for what? Yeah, okay. Yeah. So one's if you don't get all the carrots, and then you get a well done if you do. So now it should work. Yes. We're now working. So I don't know what else he'd like me to do with this, really. Let's see if I can see how many carrots I can collect. Let's see if we get the well done screen up all right. So there really wasn't a lot to do. You know, you could have used the graphics he was already using with the coding he chose to use. I chose to change it just to try and do it in a more neater fashion, in my opinion. But by moving a Go sub, that could have just been corrected anyway. There was no real need to do what I've done, but I've done it anyway, just to tidy it up. So yeah, we've got our well done. I'm assuming our well done's got to be printed up there. Yes, of course it has, because it's saying well done. Look at the score. So yeah, it's working. Okay, brilliant. It's just let's just kill our man off, our rabbit off again. Yeah. So everything seems to be okay now. There might be some other little improvements he might want to do himself. I did notice that when it is game over, pause 0, yeah, that's fine. It's just if you've still got your finger on the button after game over, it just reload it anyway. But yeah, that doesn't matter. That's fine. Yeah, cool. Right, I'll get this back to him, see if he's happy, and see what his response is. What I will do actually is, if I just go list 2000, just so he knows when he gets at his end, I'll put the graphics in there. So A equals that one, B equals that one, C equals that one, and D equals graphic D. So I didn't bother putting the data in for the other character that he had in his original program because it wasn't being used. It was basically graphics C, but the man was waving the other way round, but it wasn't being used, so I didn't bother putting it in. But if he wanted to put it in, he can do that. He could create another line at 2030 and then just change the calculation on the for next loop. Just add another line in there, you know, so you would go G equals 0 to how many more sums of 8 graphics blocks you want to put in there, if you see what I mean. There is a video on my channel explaining user-defined graphics a bit better than probably I have done on this video, so check that one out if you want to know a bit more. The sound isn't perfect on that video. It's one of my very first ones, but yeah, anyway, that's Rabbit all completed. I say he may want to do his own little improvements. I notice there are things still going on with the colour there. We had a green, then we had a red, but he may want it like that. But anyway, I hope I've done what was asked, and I'm sure in the comments now we will have a lot of comments saying how they would have done it, or improvements, or whatever. Mention machine code, you're going to make me boil over. There's no need for it for this game. Okay, anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'm sure we'll see you on the next one. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.